Hey, this is Jason Cruz with MMA Payout once again with the interview. And this time, this gentleman will be facing Bubba Jenkins at the end of this month. It's already August. Oh my goodness. PFL 9, August 27th in Florida. Chris Wade is here. Thank you very much, sir, for attending this interview. I greatly appreciate it. First and foremost, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Um, we just finished up practice, so I just got home and I'm eating and recovering. So it's good to get off my feet and talk and think through the fight, which is what we're gonna do right now.
Awesome, awesome. So, you sound pretty chill, and probably because you extended a lot of energy out of practice. I was wondering. So, this has to be the tail end of the training camp. How has the training camp been for you?
Training camp's been great. I have to say that it was a little longer than expected. We got pushed back 2 weeks. We were supposed to fight on the 13th originally, so we really should be wrapping camp up technically right now, but the fight was pushed back to the end of the month. So we got a few extra weeks. And what we're doing right now is just getting the weight down. We've already put the hard work in. We're in shape. We're just going over technique and things that we've seen, um, game plan that we want to implement right now. It's just finishing touches and stay healthy, get the weight down.
Now, you mentioned the weight. I know you, and your last fight was your first KO. Congratulations on that. Um, you indicated that you're a big featherweight, but the cut is for real. Explain a little bit about how you decided to get dropped down another, I guess, 10 pounds, and how is the cut going right now?
Um, the cut's going really well, and it has been really the whole year. I was more reluctant mentally before making the weight because I had just never been there before. So going down to 45, I was not sure if it could actually physically happen for me. I had a lot of people telling me like differing things, and it put doubt in my mind, but we took it pretty serious on the first one in April, and the cut went great. It wasn't bad at all. And we got the 6 week break and made it again. So I've made it a few times now. I think I have a feel for it. It's no joke in that last 5 pounds or so. It does hurt a little bit. The night before you really can't get too much sleep. But aside from that, I recover real quickly from making the weight. Once I step on the scale, within a few hours, I feel really good again. And I've been putting my body weight back on, which is a good sign. So it's just a matter of biding time until it's the moment where you could step on the scale. That's the part that fighters don't talk about a lot. That sucks. Is just like you almost want to attack it now and just you're like, I'll do it, I'll make it, let's just do it, get it out of the way, but you can't. You have to. It's got to be right before. So it becomes this gradual process.
You only have to be 145 for maybe about 10 minutes. I'm
Yeah,
joking, but yeah.
exactly. No,
Oh,
no, in all seriousness, that is the truth of it, which is crazy.
oh my goodness. And so let's reveal a little, if you can. It's August 3rd right now. How much do you weigh?
Right now, I'm in the high 60s.
Okay.
Um, I don't want to take my weight really any lower right now because I just like the way my body feels and operates day to day in fight camp this way. And
Mhm.
then a couple of weeks out, we'll try to take it down into like the lower 60s, and then it's pretty much a water weight cut from there.
Interesting, interesting. And so you are a veteran of the PFL. You've been there is it going on three years now, 3 seasons, I guess.
Yeah,
How
this is season 3.
Yeah. How do you like the setup of how the PFL does its business as far as organizing and scheduling fights, as opposed to like wherever else you've been?
I think that this is this format is the beginnings of a necessary step for mixed martial arts where people need to see, in my opinion, like a regular season and a playoff that leads to a championship because um, you see in other organizations, it's just this merry-go-round of a few people that they cycle in and a lot of rematches. And there's just a ton of time that these champs like hold the belt and don't actually compete or like put it on the line. So in theory, it would work if they were active, but they only want to fight those guys like once or twice a year at most. So this format allows for suspense because it's like the major sports. If my team, the Mets, right, they win the World Series, they got to run it back dead even with everybody else the next year and try to repeat. They don't get to only play one or two teams at the end of the season because they had the belt the year before. So I think it makes for more suspense, more upsets, and I'm all for that being a sports fan. I think we need it.
Now, what about the point system? Because now, of course, you with the KO benefited from the points, as but I know there's different opinions from speaking with other PFL fighters as regarding deductions of points or the additions of points or things like that. If you don't get a finish, you're not as yeah, you don't get as many points as someone who may have just dominated but get its unanimous decision. What do you think of the point system?
Like I said, I think that they're on to something, and I think that it's the beginnings of where we need to go. I do see what they're saying. I don't really have a full handle on how they deduct points because I've always tried to just make weight, get there healthy, and avoid experiencing that. I know some things are out of people's control, so I don't really agree with like the point deductions for an injury that you couldn't control.
Mhm.
But I do think if you miss weight, maybe losing a point off the top is fair. I think that um, you should still be able to score points though, which I don't think you're able to right now.
Mhm.
And then as far as the point system goes, I like it because um, I think it does promote action, and I think there is a reward to go out and finish fights, and that's what people want to see is fights end really, right? They either want to
Mhm.
see a crazy fight that goes back and forth where both guys are barely standing at the end, or they want to see somebody go down in
Yeah.
spectacular fashion. So I get what the PFL is doing from a business perspective, and I think that's good. I just think maybe we need another one regular season fight to let the kind of cream rise to the top.
Yeah, it's interesting as far as like how much you want to extend the season, but um,
Right.
yeah, that's the one thing because then if you extend it, maybe you get injured, then you can't.
Fight
That's the
for.
one gamble.
Yep. I know it's tough. It's tough in fighting because it's so physical, right?
Hmm.
But it's a great idea. I think the format is. I think they're really onto something. I think the sport needs it.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely, it's a unique way of keeping everybody involved and interested, and it's one as a sports fan, everybody understands standings and playoffs and things like that. Speaking of which, you face Bubba Jenkins August 27th. He's been around a while. You've been around a while. What do you know about Bubba Jenkins? You inferred that you are doing a lot of study on him. What do you know specifically about him?
Well, I've known Bubba for since I wrestled in high school because we're just about the same age. We wrestled weights that were near one another, and he was very successful at the D1 level. And when you follow the sport, you kind of know the top guys by name when you're involved in it. So I've known of his ability wrestling wise for, you know, since we were 17 or 18 years old. I've heard of his name, and I have a lot of respect for people that wrestle at a high level. I I think it is one of the toughest things to do in the world, to win a NCAA D1 national championship. So um, hats off to him for that, first
Mhm.
of all. But we aren't wrestling, and we're going to have, in fact, a fist fight on August 27th. So, with that being said, uh, I mean, I'm not super impressed with his last two performances. I know that he did beat Lance, who won twice. I just think Lance is in a little bit of a different place this year. He's won a few times, and he has a newborn, and there's just some things in his life that are different now than they were 2 years ago. So I think that when it comes to where I'm strong, which is being athletic and using some unorthodox stuff on my feet, Bubba is not. He wants to wrestle. He wants to kind of run you up against the cage, um, take you to the mat from there, lock down on one of your legs, and kind of chill, control the round. I think that you need to push a guy like him. He needs to be like pushed into a crazy fight the entire time to test, um, kind of test his overall endurance. So the plan is to bring the fight to him and to make him work in this fight the entire time.
Interesting. And so you don't. I mean, even though it's a matchup of two wrestlers, you're not afraid to throw hands. I mean, you already have a you're on a KO streak right now. So speaking of which, tell me a little bit about it was your first KO professionally. Um, how does that feel to stop somebody? I know it's we see the highlight reels and stuff, but I mean, your pedigree is wrestling, but you were able to KO him, similar to like I guess I watched it. It's similar to Pitbull. I'm not Pitbull. McKee Pitbull, where McKee hit him with a leg kick and then finished him off. How was that set up in your fight this past June with Armand Ospino?
Well, what happened there is, you have a situation where you got a guy who really, really believes in his striking and unorthodox techniques, and everything he does when he wins is pretty much finishing fights on his feet. So he sells out on his feet, and I just knew, and I had a feeling deep down that if I met him there and I stood there and took some of what he could handle giving, that there'd be opportunities on the other side of that when he was gassed and he realized the dust kind of settled and he realizes that I'm still in his face. And I think that it played out. If you listen to the interviews before that fight and like what I needed to do, I was just saying like, listen, he's very good. He's super dangerous. He's one of the best strikers I ever fought. Um, and I knew that he was going to try to take my head off, but I also am confident. Like I know I can withstand people's, you know, little onslaughts or whatever they bring at you. I can handle it, and I knew that if I let him extend himself energy wise, trying to make the fight end, that I could basically beat up on him after that and still get bonus points, but just a little later in the fight and win. And I mean, it played out like pretty much perfect. He tried to go nuts in the beginning of the second round, and I felt like he was starting to wear down at the end of the first round already. So it surprised me to see him like really gun it and
Yeah.
step on the gas. I didn't even think he had that much left, but it was like almost I manifested it in my head before the fight, because that's just exactly how I saw it happening. I saw him taking deep breaths and starting to run from me. and then making a mistake along the cage because he ran a lot in his fights back and forth to try to lure you into stuff. So I knew that I could trap him in something, and that head kick just he ducked down a little. He had no defense, and my bottom of my knee just hit him like right in the temple. And then I saw his eyes roll back, and I knew like he was basically all but out. And then I just followed it up. But it feels the same, honestly, being a grappler. You said like, oh,
Mhm.
how sweet is it to get that knockout? It's nice, like statistically and like highlight wise, to do
Mhm.
that for sure. Trust me, I've I've finished people in my amateur bouts, TKOs and stoppages and whatnot. So I was frustrated knowing that I put people down, like in training, I put people down in amateur fights, and to have it not come to fruition out there was annoying. But it felt kind of just like when I would put someone to sleep with a submission. It was still awesome. So much energy, like so many emotions. So I wouldn't I wouldn't say I could really pick one over the other, but man, does it feel great when your opponent goes to sleep and you know the fight's over. It's the best.
Oh yeah, that's what I would expect so, and I assume that's what you're hoping for August 27th, PFL 9, in Florida, right? Correct? It's in Florida this fight.
Yep, this one's in Florida, in
Yep.
Hollywood, Florida, I believe, at the Hard Rock.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
yeah, that's exactly what I expect is to TKO him.
Awesome. So it's the final four, and then after this fight, it's on to the finals for the chance to win a million bucks. So, Chris Wade, I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you so much for making it, and good luck later this month.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time as well.
Okay.
I'll talk to you before the finals.
Most definitely. That would be great. Hey, Chris, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And yeah, once again, realistically, real life. Good luck. I'll be watching.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, have a good one.